Walaikum salam, nephew. Welcome. Okay, we're live and we're going to go ahead and get started, brothers. First, again, welcoming all who are tuning in to We Must First Be Brothers. Our subject today, by the grace of Almighty God, is men are maintainers of women. I would like to greet you with the greeting words of peace. We said in the Arabic of Assalamu alaikum. I start with our salutation of in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I bear witness there is no God but Allah. We thank him for making his divine intervention in our affairs in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise I forever do. And I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is his exalted Christ and risen Messiah. And I further bear witness that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is their servant and divine reminder and present-day warner among us. I greet you, my brothers in the listening audience and whomever may tune in, with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language of our forefathers of As-salam alaikum, simply meaning peace be unto you, a prayer of the righteous. We are thankful for this sacred month that we are embarking on a fast, a prescription given to us by Almighty God Allah, that we may purify ourselves, purify our hearts, our intentions, clean up, that we may be more acceptable to our Lord. So we greet you with Ramadan Mubarak, which is a blessed Ramadan to all of those who are fasting and praying that Allah will make us better human beings. Today, again, yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Lewis. Today, we again are approaching the subject, and we want to just lay the foundation for our discussion. Men are maintainers of women. And this is a very critical and crucial subject matter. This, I want to lay a few ground rules, is not a process by which we are engaging in an attack on our sisters. Needless to say, obviously, we're mature brothers on this platform. But I just want to say that, and we're here to really dig into our part, our role, and our responsibility as brothers. Men are maintainers of women. A maintainer is an individual responsible for upholding, repairing, preserving something so that it continues to function as it was designed. A maintainer projects or protects the system. A maintainer preserves the order. A maintainer restores what has been damaged. In the natural world, nothing survives without maintenance. Equipment must be maintained. Systems must be maintained. Traditions must be maintained. And the mind must be maintained. Our faith is a system. Our families are a system. Our communities are a system. And when the maintainers abandon their duty, the system collapses. This is why the Holy Quran gives a direct command about the role of the man. In the Quran, Surah 4, verse 34, it says, men are the maintainers of women because Allah has made some of them to excel others and because they spend of their wealth. So the good women are obedient, guarding the unseen as Allah has guarded. This verse does not describe domination. It describes responsibility. Men are the maintainers of women, charged with protection, provision, guidance, and accountability. When a man fulfills this divine duty with discipline and righteousness, the family becomes strong. And when the family becomes strong, the foundation of righteousness or a righteous nation is built. But the scripture also warns us of what happens when men abandon their position or are unable to fulfill this position. In the Bible, in the book of Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, the 12th verse, it says, "As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy path." This scripture is not condemning women. It is exposing the collapse of righteous leadership. When men fail to maintain their duty, the divine order becomes inverted. Children rule, confusion rules, and the path of righteousness becomes destroyed. The agenda of our oppressors has always been to break the masculine foundation, destroy the man. History shows it clearly. Kill the male, break the male, destroy the father, and spare the female. Spare her not because they respect her, but because they know that if the man is removed, the entire structure of a people, a nation, it will collapse. But we must say something clearly. The condition of Black women today is not their fault. And the destruction of the Black family is not solely the fault of the Black man. However, it is our responsibility to repair it. Responsibility does not mean blame. Responsibility means we are the maintainers. So the repair must begin with us. We are brothers. We as brothers must become fortified with character. We must learn to distinguish the falsehood of our enemy from the divine light of God reflected through us. When a man rises in truth, discipline, and knowledge of himself, the woman naturally responds to that order. Many sisters themselves have affirmed this point. As the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us, she is not merely the woman of man, she is the woman of God. But in order for her to return to the divine nature, the man must reestablish his godship, because the God she has been under is the God of this world, the God who is our enemy. And that enemy has used every system available to divide the Black man and the Black woman. He has used the media, the schools, culture, and now the algorithms right on the internet. The systems feed narratives that promote hostility between the sexes. It promotes the battle of the sexes. It glorifies division and turns our women into commodities, chasing money over family status, over righteousness, and attention over divine purpose. This isn't liberation. This is social engineering. It is a cancer destroying the natural nuclear family. But we must not respond with anger toward our sisters. Our war is not against them. Our war is against the enemy outside of us, the enemy within ourselves. Because men, real fortified men are the maintainers, not complainers. Maintenance is not limited to finances. One of the greatest tricks of the system is to reduce the value of the black man to his bank account. But maintenance is much deeper than money. A true maintainer must possess wisdom, knowledge, understanding. He must know himself, his God, his enemy, and the universe he lives in. That is the true value of a man. A man who masters himself is dangerous to the oppressor, because self-mastery destroys the enemy within. And once we conquer the enemy within, we begin to reclaim what belongs to us. We reclaim our women. We reclaim our daughters. We reclaim our sons, not through begging, not through negotiations, but through divine order, because no government can grant us that power. No world leader can give us this position. That authority comes from Allah himself, and love will win again, because Allah is exposing and sitting down every wicked tyrant. The system of deception are collapsing. Even the dollar, the god of this modern world, is trembling. And when the dollar falls, the question becomes, what will we value then? What will be the true commodity when money loses power? We will still chase the bag. Will we chase that bag then? Or will we rediscover the value of brotherhood, family, and divine order? Because the kingdom of heaven cannot be built on money. It can only be built on love and righteousness. The love between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Both originated from the single essence, God himself. The Holy Quran says, Kul ul Allah ahad. Say he, Allah, is one. Within the oneness of Allah exist the attributes that sustain creation: the merciful, the just, the healer, the destroyer, the builder, the reckoner, and others. Attributes that reflect both strength and compassion, masculine and feminine balance, working together in harmony. So the war we must fight, brothers, is not against our sisters. The war is against the enemy within ourselves, and the enemy manipulating our sisters. Men are not complainers. Men are maintainers. And when the maintainer returns to his divine position, order returns, family returns, nation returns, and the kingdom of God begins to rise again. So, brothers, the world is waiting for the return of the maintainer, not the loud man, not the complaining man, not the distracted man, the maintainer, the man who governs himself, the man who disciplines his mind, the man who stands between his family and destruction. Because the man rises in righteousness, the woman does not have to fight him. When we rise in righteousness, she don't have anything to fight against. She can rest in her nature. And when the woman returns to her divine nature, the children rise in strength. And when the children rise in strength, a nation is reborn. This is why the enemy fears the rise of the black man. This is why we must first be brothers, because the rise of the black man means the restoration of order, and the order produces power. So the question tonight is not whether the world is broken. The world has always been broken, especially for this past 6,000 years under the rule of our oppressors. The question is, will the maintainers return? Will the brothers rise in wisdom? Will we master ourselves? Will we reclaim our families? Will we rebuild the divine balance between the masculine and the feminine? And so we start here tonight, brothers, And we lay that foundation very intentionally because we have to wage war. We have to wage war against the system that has us at odds. That's where we are today. So I welcome you, my brothers, on this call to We Must First Be Brothers. We want all of you to participate with your thoughts. There's so many things going on in the world today as it pertains to this very subject. And we want to engage from a position of high level intelligence. If you take note, brothers, in the context of what I started with the help of God, I'm speaking from the position of responsibility. And I'm speaking from the position of authority. I'm not speaking from the position of an expectancy for anyone to do for us what we're able to do for ourselves. I'm not expecting the woman to do for us what we have to do. I'm talking to us as brothers with the help of God and encouraging this dialogue so that we can start to look at what is our role and responsibility and that we can take the position. We don't ask anybody to give us anything. We take the position. You know, it reminds me of the book of Revelations, where it said that lamb, that he went and took the book. See, we have to go take it. This is a military maneuver because it was a military maneuver that got us in this position in the first place. And it is a strategic social engineering that keeps us in this place of degradation and destruction within our community. Our women are shaking their ass on the internet. Our women think that chasing the bag is what's important. Our women think that money matters more than anything. So there's something wrong with that. Now, it's easy for us to go and attack her, but we have to ask the question, and this is where we're starting tonight. Is she our woman, or has she been under the rule of our enemy? We know by nature she's our woman, but if she's under the rule of our enemy, perhaps that's why she's behaving in the manner of which she is now behaving in many cases. And I'm not speaking of all women, but I'm speaking of a great deal of what we are seeing every single day on these timelines and everything we see on television, how the enemy has manipulated through his corrupt disease, pornography, and Hollywood and every other thing, and how he is engineered into the psyche of our little girls today. Little girls are going to school with these mentalities. This is a part of the cycle of education that's destroying our people. And so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said a nation can rise no higher than its woman. But who's responsible for pouring into that oil, that soil, and cultivating that soil? So I want to just open up the mic. Brother Lewis, where you at, brothers? I need you brothers to pop out. I don't see you all on the screen. I would love to see your beautiful faces. Brother John and all you brothers, please pop in here so we can see these beautiful black men and let us go to work on this discussion. I know we got a lot to talk about tonight, and we get started with just that question, or what is your thought process, and how do you believe, brothers, or do you agree that it is our role and responsibility, and what is your thought and input on that particular statement? Brother Lewis, I would love for you come to mind, brother, and I'm putting you in the cooker right away, but you come to mind right off the top, and follow the energy as I moderate and MC this process, and just want to get your take on that. And then we'll come around to our beloved brother John, and we want to hear from you in that order. And other brothers who are on the call, just raise your hand, and we would love for you to participate in this conversation. It's essential. This is a significant, very significant conversation under the umbrella, really, of the teachings of God, but under this subject umbrella of we must first be brothers. It's something about this conversation and this topic that has really touched a very passionate part of me, because I believe this is a significant part of our takeover as men, where we start to reconstruct and rebuild. Brother Lewis, you often talk and teach us on the feminine nature of the earth, how the earth is feminine. In fact, you know, after just reflecting on those things that you taught us because of your relationship with the earth and how you work the earth, you know, I also looked and thought about the universe. I said, well, the universe is feminine because whatever you put in it, that is a seed, will come out of it. If you put a seed in the earth and you nourish it and water it, the earth will produce something for you. And when you put thought, which is like a probe, if you will, and ejaculate a thought into the universe that you believe in and that you don't doubt, that thought will also produce something for you. That is a divine law. So this masculine and feminine relationship is something that is very significant. Brother Lewis, unmute, brother. Let's get at it, black man. Let's get ready to rumble, brothers.
Man, beautiful introduction, Brother Michael. I want
to be to Allah.
Extend Ramadan Mubarak to all of my brothers and give them the greetings of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
This is so powerful. I want to start, though, with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's book, Message to the Black Man. Mm-hmm. And he has a section of it. It's called The Original Man. And I wanted to go into that a little bit because he starts out talking about the black woman, but I want to follow up on what you said about protect and elevate your woman. That's the title of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's chapter. Protect and elevate your woman. And he starts out, he says, Allah himself has said that we cannot return to our land until we have a thorough knowledge of ourselves. This first step is to control and protect our own women. There is no nation on the earth that has less respect for and as little control of their women as the so-called Negro here in America. Even animals and beasts and fowls of the air have more love and respect for their females than have the so-called Negroes here in America. Our women are allowed to walk or ride the streets all night long with any strange men, didn't say man, it says men, they desire. They are allowed to frequent taverns or dance halls that are wherever they like, whenever they like, and they're allowed to fill our homes with children other than our own children. Children that are often fathered by the very devil himself. Mm. Then when the devil decides to marry her, the so-called Negro press and magazines will make it front page news. The daily press will not print a so-called Negro man marrying into his own race. But you seem to think it is an honor for your own nation, your daughters, to go over to the enemies, the devils. Our women have been and are still being used by the devil race ever since they were first brought here to the States as slaves. They cannot go without being winked at, whistled at, yelled at, slapped at, patted, rubbed on, kicked, or driven around in the streets by the devil enemies right under your noses. Yet you do nothing about it, nor do you even protest. I'm going to read just a little more and I'm going to stop.
Go ahead.
You cannot control or protect your woman as long as you are in the devil's false religion called Christianity. This is the only this religion of theirs gives you no desire or power to resist them. The only way and place to solve this problem is in the religion of Islam. I'm going to stop there. That's on page 59 and 60.
Powerful.
So that's very powerful.
Powerful.
From the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And what we got to confess is we've been socialized to be domesticated pets of another people. Some of us have more education or training than others, but we're still domesticated. Now, a domesticated animal don't protect his women and don't protect his children, because the domesticated one believes that his woman and his children belong to others.
Teach.
And so, like good animals, like a dog can wag his tail and he can sit down. Some of them can even hunt for the master. But anything he catch, he bring it right back to the master. And we can, they don't just pat on the sisters, they rub on us and pat on us on some of these jobs.
Mm-hmm.
That domestication cannot be broken without the ever-living, piercing word of God coming in the form of truth.
Mm.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the truth and the Islam that he teaches wakes up the militant propensities and tendencies and nature of the original black man. And you got to be honest. We didn't know that we were supposed to protect our women until we heard the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaching.
Teach, brother. Mm-hmm.
We didn't know that.
That's a fact.
We were domesticated to think that fornication and adultery was a badge of honor. In fact, that's how you prove you're an alpha male.
Mm.
By how many slave girls that are already destroyed we could run through. Think about that. They domesticated us and they caused us to mismanage our youth. And you get what you give to the earth, but also to women too. See, anything that you plant in the earth, it will grow. So if you plant goodness in a woman, goodness will come out of her. But if you plant toxic, wicked stuff, or if toxic, wicked stuff was already in her when you met her, and you don't scarify, you all are farmers, you understand that scarification of the land is in the Bible. Mm. They say that every 7 years, and 6 or 7 years, this is deep, you actually set it on fire and you burn the earth to relieve the earth of all of its toxins before you go and plant anything. Because if you plant something in soil that's contaminated, that contaminated soil will ruin the seed and it will diminish the crop. Well, think about us as brothers rushing because we're so filled with lust to plant our seed in a woman who hadn't even been scarified. No truth in the woman. You didn't plant no truth in her. You just jumped in this bed with her and made a baby. You don't even know what she's going to teach the baby, and she don't know what she's going to teach the baby because of the way we've been socialized. And so you can't maintain a woman until you're taught how to maintain a woman. And so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had to rebuild us again as men so that we could go and help begin the process of rebuilding our women.
Yes, sir.
Our women are like the earth. There is no part of this earth that can't be cultivated and developed, but you're going to have to be hard enough to go do it. It takes a certain amount of harshness and hardened ideas and vision to bring out of the earth or the woman what is in her.
Yes, sir.
There is beauty in our women, but it's masked and cluttered and covered by the past traumas and experiences they've had, often before they met a decent man. Most of our women wouldn't know a decent man until they actually meet one. We're all covered with skin. Many of our brothers are handsome and tall and destroyed. This is real. And so we have to be open enough to say, God, send me somebody to teach me this wisdom that I don't know on how to be a man first. Then let me qualify myself and see what kind of woman do I personally need to bring into existence the vision that you have put in my mind. I ain't gonna maintain a woman, you don't even have a vision.
Come on, brother.
You don't have nothing that she can really help you work on, or that y'all can work on together. So the best you can do is fornicate and commit adultery. And the devil, as long as we're doing this, he know he got us, because we're not working on anything together. See, God gave us, he allowed us to build something, and then he gave us a help meet to reproduce ourselves and to reproduce the ideas and to take the ideas, which you will not get, into the next dispensation of time. And it's only through the Black woman that you can get to the next dispensation of time. And so what the devil has done, now think about this, and I'm going to stop because I know the other brothers are anxious to chime in. For many years, after we drove Yaqub and his made race of devils, or the Caucasians, out of what is called the so-called East, we drove them into the hillsides and cave sides of Europe. And they lost over 2,000 years. You can read this in the Bible. And we put a strong black angel at the gate with a sword. And any of the infidels or devils that would try to come back and trade in the East, we would kill them on the spot, take their head off. We drove them and forced them to stay in Europe where it's cold and not much resources, and they didn't even know how to bury their dead. The only person that would befriend them was the dog in the cave. You can read about it during Ramadan when you read the 18th chapter of the Holy Quran called The Cave. Everywhere you looked, you seen them and their dog. The dog was the only one that could befriend them. The white man didn't even like women. He got involved in homosexuality. He hated women. He crawled around on all fours. His backside became very flat and pale looking. And he kept losing in war, and he would beat the women because he didn't want a big family and didn't want a lot of children because he hates himself so much. He didn't want to reproduce himself. It was the white female that he began to send to the East. And when he sent her to the East, some of the so-called black men got weak, and they started cohabiting with the Caucasian female. And this is where in the Bible you say the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. It's in the Bible. And they started cohabiting, and the race mixing began, according to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And when race mixing began, those lighter complected, what some call mulattoes today, eventually came to power and they started letting their white brethren, outright Caucasian brethren, in. And this is how they used their women to conquer civilizations.
Mm.
And they got their women to talk to our women and tell our women that polygyny was wrong and that they seen their husband over in the house of another woman. They got a bunch of mess started, and it takes Mother Tainetta Muhammad to talk about the biggest slanderers on the planet were the white female. They use slander to conquer you by breaking your morale and your love for one another.
Preach.
And when they broke the bond between the black man and black woman, of which we haven't healed to this very moment.
Come on.
I'm praying that we can heal it.
Yes, sir.
That's when we became weak. We didn't become just men fighting men. We had division between the black man and the black woman. And we lost our ability to see each other as morally superior to our enemy because of this race mix.
Absolutely.
Because of letting this white woman in our households. And when they conquered us, we lost our ability to maintain and govern the thinking of our women. Last quick point. When our women went to spiritual houses before the conquering of the Caucasian, they were not praising a white Jesus. You know who they were praising? The black man, the black God. Did you hear that? And they were raising children to praise the black man, the black God who provided and built the civilization for them.
Teach.
Do you know who they don't praise today? And they have the least good things to say about?
Teach.
Their own man.
Teach.
Now they praise the white Jesus. But a lot of our sisters, because of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they're coming back. And this is what the white man fears the most. He doesn't just fear the black man being with another black man, and we do need to be brothers first.
Right.
But what his greatest fear is that a black woman will respect a black man and then reproduce the mind and the thinking of that black man.
You cooking.
Put that black man into the next dispensation of time.
Let me tell you, beloved, I thank you, Brother Lewis. I'm just so appreciative of the history lesson that you just gave from the perspective of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which I must inform those of you who are listening is absolute divine truth. There's no way we're going to get away from it. We can't dance around it.
That's right.
You just might as well accept the reality that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us the truth.
That's
and
right.
his minister has told us the truth.
That's right.
He was the only one who has taught us into the knowledge of the woman where we could even begin the process of learning how to respect a female.
That's right.
There's never been another teaching from any other religious structure, organization in the bounds of North America that has taught us these principles.
That's
and
right.
though we may not have perfected it and we are working on it, we have to be honest and forthright and bearing witness to what he gave us. But what you laid out was so phenomenal, Brother Lewis, because it addressed the historical relationship between the black female, the white woman, her influence and power, which reminded me of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, that would be one of the last tricks of the oppressor, was his woman. Well, we can look at that in multiple ways, but certainly by utilizing these feministic ideas that they have espoused that are not compatible with our condition. They're not compatible with the needs of the black woman. And the other thing, and I wanted to just kind of lift, and brothers, let's build. We have to build on this subject because Brother Lewis made a very important point. it is important that brothers come together. And the reason why we're starting here, because Honorable Elijah Muhammad said we must first be brothers, is so that we can start galvanizing the necessary strength and power from each other. You know, flames united become stronger, more powerful. And in so doing, then we can attack these issues unapologetically. This word unapologetic is one that I've been using a lot because I feel like they have made us perpetual apologizers. The small hats have made us apologize. Everybody got black men apologizing for being dead, apologizing for desiring to be ourselves, apologizing for being masculine. You know, it's just apology after apology, compromise after compromise, and we have to stop it. We have to take a position. And Brother Lewis made a striking point about being hard, you know, and not being vulgar, but we have to understand you're not penetrating anything unless you are. You can't penetrate the earth, you can't penetrate anything unless we are fortified, you know. And so we have to get hard, brothers, in a respectful, righteous way. We have to become solid. We got to be fortified. The blood got to rush, you know, into our spiritual being in a way that makes us erect and strong and take our rightful position. And that's why I'm using the language unapologetically men. We do not negotiate. I made that in the statement. What does it look like for us to go to Congress and ask the government of the United States to fix our problem? He will not fix our problem. This is why our women believe in him, as Brother Lewis pointed out, more than she believes in us, because he's been put in the position to provide the bread, the food, the clothing, and the shelter. You see, and we are not. Now, of course, we know what caused these conditions, but as we wake up, brothers, we have to take our rightful position. Brother John, where you at, black man?
Peace, brothers.
Peace, beloved.
I'm
Peace.
Mubarak.
Ramadan,
John right here, bro.
Yes, sir.
I had a little different aspect of it, but I didn't want to just turn around and just shift everybody to the left or to the right. We could have stayed a little bit on Brother Lewis. I mean, depending on how you want to do it. But you know, I'm just thankful everybody here. Thankful everybody want to give their time, because you could have been anywhere. And by the way, Jay-Z didn't, everyone think Jay-Z started that, but he didn't start that. That comes from us. You could have been anywhere, but you decided to be with us. Yeah, so, you know. But what I wanted to actually get proposed and I wrote a little something. I was thinking about this. We have to get disruptive. And that's what you're saying. And that's what Lewis brought forth. But because this ain't about flowers or Netflix. You know, that's what we be hearing all the time, flowers and Netflix.
All right, this is good stuff.
So we just got to strip everything away. So I got a little something I wrote here. I said, from the first principles, let's strip away all the feminist fog, the simping culture, the ego trips, and what's left? God's order, natural law, survival code. We are to control, protect, respect, guide, and maintain the Black woman. So let's keep it 100. In 2026, everything that's going on, you got war drums beating, AI taking people's jobs. I know y'all seen over 4,000 jobs was lost today.
Yes, sir.
Economy's crumbling. Our queens are under siege from the inside. And so what I mean by that? Well, the stats don't lie. The stats say that 70% of Black women are overweight, unfit physically, carrying health bombs that die with like diabetes, with the systems, pump junk food into the hood, into our children, not cooking correctly, not coming home and getting a good meal. They're uncooperative, they're armed with degrees, jobs, credit, thinking independence trumps partnership. They're non-submissive, convinced that they're on our level, physically, financially, flipping divine roles into chaos. Non-agreeable, stubborn walls up from Stubborn walls are up from years of hurt and programming. That's the battlefield we got, brothers. And it's not totally her fault, but ours to fix, maintain, and it's harder to maintain, and it's harder to qualify to be stronger in this world. But we got to hit it hard tonight. So how do we respect her divine spark while correcting all these problems? How do we protect her from self-sabotage without breaking her spirit? How do we control with righteousness, not rage, to rebuild families that withstand this storm? That's what I would like to propose to every brother to think about, not only tonight, but in the coming weeks also.
I think you hit some very critical points, especially when you start talking about the condition. You know, when you start talking about the weight, the depression, our sisters are in a lot of pain, but we are too in a lot of pain.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes,
Black
sir.
people in general are suffering from serious mental illness as we speak. And if we would all be honest, especially the more light a man comes into of understanding, that is, then he comes to the realization of his condition, and he can be brutally honest about his condition.
Mhm.
And we are all messed up, you know. It reminds me of Kendrick Lamar, Brother John. You know, he said, homie, you effed up, I'm effed up, you know, but if God got us, we're going to be all right. You know,
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir. We're going to be all right.
We're going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes,
your
sir.
point is well taken in your intro. And I think it's important because, you know, I'm being careful in how we approach this subject to not come across to feed into the efforts of our oppressor in what we say about and how we manage and deal with our women. But you make crucial points. You know, she's overweight, she's depressed, she's running wild in a sense. No disrespect to you sisters that are trying and upright and righteous. Thank you. May Allah bless you. But we're talking about this condition that we're seeing that's prevailing. Not talking about righteous sisters that, you know, striving to get their life in order with Allah and them, you know, in themselves. But we're talking about these conditions that are prevailing in our society right now. The fact that I promise you, any one of us brothers or sisters can go down the timeline on Facebook, on Instagram, on any of these media formats, or turn on the television, and we're going to see a Black woman disrobed. We got Black women, Brother John, as you point out these conditions. You got Cardi B. She's a celebrity superstar. No, I'm not hating on the sister personally, a personal attack, but she is in the public eye. But what is she known for? She puts out music that is essentially promoting stripping and twerking, freakishness. This is the programming that's coming into our community. And our families, our children, our young girls, and this is why we got to go to war against this, man.
That's right.
We got to go to war. We have become so compromised that we won't call it for what it is, man. The enemy has made our women into hoes. And Brother John, you made another point. Don't take it offensively, sisters, if you're listening, because I'm not calling anybody particularly a hoe, but I'm trying to show you what the enemy has done to us. Chasing the bag. All you got to do is turn on the television. A man has no worth if he don't got no money. But the Bible didn't say he had to have money. The scripture didn't say he had to already be perfect. He said God created him a helpmeet. Help meet what? The minister said. To meet his obligation so he can go out and get the money, so he can be successful. But if he's has to be already perfect, then what need has he of a woman? And that's why whenever you run into a man who already got a woman, he treats you like you are a product, like you're merchandise. You have no real value because you didn't help him build what he has. So we've been made into simps. I don't give a darn if you call yourself even the gangbanger, the dope dealer. He going out buying bags, See, he's created a culture where he's spending money, and that's what justifies and makes him look like he's somebody. He's not elevating her, he's buying her. You see, these cultures, the enemy put out this, it made this culture, this under degrading culture, which is extremely toxic and non-productive because it does not fuel the divine purpose for which Almighty God, Allah, made us. So cancer, disease is growing in our community.
That's right.
Our women are suffering, and they may not want to admit it. They're suffering, and we're suffering. Loneliness is a disease. And Brother John, you put an amazing backdrop up there. We don't want to skip over that because, you know, we can easily skip over these very critical points. War on the horizon.
That's right.
Enemy is about to implement the draft. He already took the man. Who's protecting our woman today?
That's right.
Who's protecting when there's civil unrest in the streets? I don't care how liberated you think you are, sister, because of what the enemy gave you in the way of power. You're not liberated. You can't fight like a man. You're not made that way. Some of you can, but not majority of you. You might get hit in the mouth by Calissa Shield, right?
Yeah.
She might catch you with one, Brother Lewis, you know, Brother John Jay, you know, but I'm trying to make a point. I'm trying to exercise a point. I know these are delicate waters to travel into, but they're important to take note. You made a backdrop, war on the horizon. You see, we talking about the whole reconstruction of the role of Black men. We're talking about the whole resurrection process. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching us that we got to rise from the dead. He said the Black man was dead. He said the Black woman was asleep. You see, so death and sleep, which are related, because death is the sleep is the sister of death, right? Interesting, the terminology that used in that expression, sister. But the thing about it, the Black man is dead, but we're waking up, and you got to know what that looks like. This conversation is a part of Black men waking up, because we are commissioning us. We have the responsibility to take over. Brother Lewis, I see your hand up.
I was just about to type it in the chat, but I do have something that we might want to consider. In the modern context, who is the alpha female? And how did she become an alpha female? Who you understand the context of the question?
Yes, sir. So
Aunt Jemima would
you mean from a divine point of view, or just how the world?
No, the world.
Okay. Yes,
because I think one of you mentioned Cardi B.
Yes.
Or the late or Meg Thee Stallion or Nicki Minaj, whoever the latest is. See, one time Dr. Ava told me something, and it was real interesting. We were in a conversation. We don't understand about Yaqubians and how Yaqub, if you ever read Message to the Black Man, go back and reread The Making of the Devil and how Yaqub discovered that which is recessive can dominate that which is dominant. Did you hear what I just said? A recessive idea can dominate something that's really stronger than that. And it's all in, and this is for salesmen, it's all in the attraction. How does Cardi B pull? We know what she's doing, but do we understand the science of what we're looking at?
Come on.
Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us so much in how to deal with a devil. First of all, there are many ways to deal with a devil. And the reason why they were so afraid of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because he ignored them. He acted like they didn't exist. So when a woman is loose and promiscuous, why would you go give her your energy? See, I'm not being self-righteous. I'm just being honest. I never went to a strip club a day in my life. And for those who have, fine, nothing. But the attracting power, the minute you go down, especially if you're a Muslim man, and you bow to Cardi B, you bow to Beyonce, and you want that kind of woman more than you do a righteous woman.
Teach.
See, a woman that's covered. You understand what I'm saying? A woman who dresses modestly. You don't want to do the hard work and having a respectful conversation with her and approach her properly. One day, maybe we'll do a show on how to approach righteous women.
Yes, sir.
Because, you know, and man, oh Allah, thank you for blessing us with our good sister, Dr. Ava Muhammad.
Yes.
She taught us so much. She told us, and she said one of these publicly and one of them, she said them publicly, okay? She was going into a store one time, and you know, Dr. Ava she's shy, but she's got quite a presence. And the guys pss, 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 hissing at Dr. Ava. She stopped and said, do you have a problem? How can I help you? Man, she dressed that fool down so cold-blooded. He didn't know what to say. Our women don't know what to do with an ignorant, degenerate Negro approaching them. And we don't know what to do with a savage, uncovered, uncouth female that you ultimately are going to have to be hard enough to develop if that's what you want. And so what happens is we give loose women power. Every time you duck off and you don't go home, but you go over to Cardi B's house, and it's one in every community, trust me. See, Cardi B, she don't give a damn about your family. She laughing and giggling and got her a smelly BBL. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not berating Cardi B.
No, you want something.
I'm showing you what brothers gotta do in order to reclaim our power. Do what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad would do. Don't even look at her.
Ignore.
Ignore her.
Yes.
And look at what Dr. Ava Muhammad taught us from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and her teacher, Minister Farrakhan. If you stop thinking about the devil, they will cease to exist. So listen here, Cardi. You get no energy from me other than to tell you the mosque is that away. And you ought to be ashamed of yourself looking so disgusting and trying to get my granddaughter to follow you. But no, what do? We're hypocrites. We go turn a trick with Cardi B. How much you charging this weekend, Cardi B? In every city. And when you do that, you weaken yourself and you weaken our position as men. How you gonna preach to Cardi B and you done gave Cardi B a couple of $1,000 to look at her pinky toe ring, and then you crawl around? See, this is hypocrisy, and that's the reason why the Quran says, "Leave them in their bed alone." You gotta have a standard. If you do that, Dr. Ava said it too, after a while, they'll start straightening up and putting on clothes. Because you're strong enough men. Don't talk. We just talked about men got to be hard. There's a psychological harshness that you have to be in order to really be a good man. You're not a good man. You're not a good man because you accept women who are beneath the standard and then try to put them on top. They're unworthy to be on top. Cardi B got to go to the MGT class or get the teachings the same way. No, she got to go to.
Right.
She got some little money, but you know what? She got a lot of miles on her.
Mm.
I'm not being ugly. I'm just, she got a lot of miles.
Both
And so what happens is we're making brazen women and soft men, brazen women. She just gonna come out like a dude with her breasts all, yeah, and you come on over here. How much money you got tonight? And you, oh, I didn't save my little pension, a little check. Women don't even respect men like that. Once they see they can do you like that, and then you want to know if you can rule the world. I just finished talking about how, see, the white man now, he's a different character. He really don't like women. That's a whole nother. He really don't like women that much. A white female will tell you in private that their men, they really don't like. But at any rate, she gonna obey him because she knows he will leave her behind. You heard me? And so the brothers, as brothers, one of the areas that we have to improve in is accepting degenerate females.
Mm-hmm.
And giving those degenerate females, see, like everything has to have a ranking system. It's in the Quran. There are ranks among men. All of us not equal. That's not being disrespectful. We're not all equal. There are grades with Allah and there is rank with God. You have to make rank, and you're not going to make rank by turning tricks. When you're in a strip club, your woman over in the strip club pulling her panties off, and you an old domesticated pet boy or boy, and you throwing dollars in somebody's drawers with people. Are you out your damn
insanity?
Sorry, but are you out your mind? And then you want to get the same respect. That woman would respect you more if you went in there and drug her out of that place and put some clothes on her.
Exactly. And secured her. And yes, because she's really insecure. Mm-hmm.
This is something we don't like to tackle as men. These women, all women like attention. But we don't give righteous women enough attention, and we give unrighteous women too much attention.
Mm-hmm.
Cardi B don't need attention. She need clothes. Decent clothes. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, if the brothers would go back to being those kind of men, you'll see our sisters start. It won't happen overnight, but I promise you, black women will straighten up. Like a woman with, I can be very, polarizing. I'm not trying to be, but I'm just being honest. See, you can't cook bean soup with fingernails this long. Not for me. You understand what I'm saying? Long nails, blonde weaves. That's against the standard. We don't wear blonde. We don't want no long blonde weave. And to be honest about it, you don't need a BBL. So this hardness that you're talking about, Brother Michael, it means that we have some rules. Mm-hmm. And we don't, and you're gonna obey the rules, or you're not gonna be here. Right. We like a woman. Well, she cute. And how you gonna be a Muslim man? Your old lady, your wife smokes. Did you hear what I just said? Mm-hmm. You got a vape pen over there by your Quran or Bible. See, this is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said in Christianity, the way they taught us, the way they socialized us to have no standard. What you talking about? You what they call it, Brother John, a work wife. You got a wife, but she's somebody else's wife at work.
Right.
Most of black women have already practiced polyamory, not polygyny, polyamory. When you come to the relationship as a black man, sharing, renting space in your woman's mind. See, you're supposed to be inside of your woman's mind, and your woman is supposed to be loyal enough to reflect your vision. That's what intimacy is really about. And that's why one woman for one man. not multiple. And Brother Tony was talking about this several weeks ago, where a woman has all of these different, you can't maintain a woman and she got Joe's signal and this one's signal and that one's signal, 4 or 5 signals going off in her mind, memories of these old lovers.
Right.
In order for, and we're not saying this from a self, you got to, all that stuff's got to be burnt out in order for there to be space for the life and the vision that you have to be in her.
Absolutely.
This is the real talk that brothers need to engage in. If she don't just carry your biological baby. She carries your spirit, your frequency, your volume, your energy into the next dispensation of time. And I'm proving with no limit of time. I never met my grandfather. My grandfather, who I'm named after, was murdered by the Klan and the 2 trusted Negroes that went with the Klan in Mississippi. I never met the man physically. But the power of the Black woman is to carry energy. My grandmother would tell me the stories. My grandfather's name was sacred in the house. I didn't just get the physical name. She carried his energy, and she was 42 years old when he was murdered, but she carried that man, that Black man's energy, and she kept him alive and told me when I was a little boy, you're going to grow up to rebuild your grandfather's work and his legacy. So loyal Black women have been put down. I don't think I could ever forget my grandmother. I just love her so much. You can't help but love a loyal woman. Before I got over here tonight, I talked to John about his mother, Miss Mildred.
Beautiful.
That woman sacrificed in order to get them to the next dispensation of time. A woman ain't that ain't no, you don't put no damn Cardi B on the level of a loyal Black woman. They have to be separated. They go in separate categories.
That's right.
That's right.
So I want us to be very clear on how a loyal Black woman can give you everlasting life.
That's right.
Eternal life. My grandfather was not here. Anything that I knew, Black women are the ones who keep the movement going by passing oral history each generation. We didn't read it in the Crackers book. She was sitting out on the porch teaching us about the legacy and the hardworking Black men who really are gods, the hardworking Black men that were building a reality for us. The stuff that I do, I couldn't do it without Stephanie.
Teach, brother.
Tells the boys, help your father.
Yes.
See, this is old school with how Black women, people don't
teach,
know.
Brother. Teach, man. Teach.
We wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for our mothers and grandmothers.
Teach, brother.
These were loyal, decent, virtuous women. And when Malcolm said that statement, you're too Black, you're too strong. They were so afraid of Black men, but who was making them militant? The Black woman.
That's right.
He was telling them what they'd done to their fathers and grandfathers. My grandmother had heat for white people.
Come on. Heat. Come on.
And one day, as a young boy, I asked her, I said, why? One of my teachers came over to the house, Miss Connesney. And my grandmother baked cakes and pies. It was around Christmas time. And she bought all of these gifts over here to me. I guess she wanted to make a pet out of me. My grandmother opened the door. That woman came in and tried to hug my grandmother. Stern Black woman.
Stern.
Like, my dear, why would you? She said, give her some cakes and pies. Don't sell them to her. Give them to her. She wouldn't even accept the gifts without giving something back. And then she opened the door and let Miss Connesney out. And when Miss Connesney left out, my grandmother told me, she said, if you ever marry a white woman, she will be your wife, but she will never be my daughter-in-law. Now listen to that good. Listen to that. Because Black women were militant and loyal. See, loyalty and militancy, they go hand in hand. And just because you kill, and I said, well, Miss Konechny didn't do nothing to us. She said, yeah, her people did something to us. I said, well, why would you speak and say like that? She said, because white people kill my brothers and my husband. The difference?
Yes.
You couldn't kill a black woman's husband and then she go take you to a welfare line talking about loving white folk. See, we will never be great as men until we reconnect with a militant, loyal, decent, feminine black woman.
Absolutely.
You can't get to the next dispensation of time without that black woman. And this is why, as long as I live, women like Dr. Ava Muhammad, there are some black women, they just gave too much. You can't forget her. I could still hear Ava's voice in my head. You can't forget those women.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk so much, but
no, brother, you're doing just fine, brother. You know, because we need to hear it. It's right on point. And you know, one particular thing that you're talking about, I think is important is the acknowledgement of the black women. I don't want to use the word strong because that's become so cliche, but the black women who have been loyal and who have stood the test. And we got sisters like that. And so we don't want you to think, those who are listening, our brothers on this call and those who may be listening on Facebook, that we are trying to say that this is all black women, some of these mishaps that we're talking about. But we do value and are very grateful for the sisters that are representing, and there are sisters representing. You know, even on social media, there's a lot of sisters who are speaking out and who are saying what needs to be said and standing on what needs to be stood on. And that's what we need. And we applaud and thank God, because we wouldn't be here without them. We wouldn't be where we are. And we have to acknowledge that if it were not for the black woman, we wouldn't be where we are today, period, point blank. There's no way possible, but with the help of Almighty God, because she carried the load, a very heavy load, through our enslavement. We have to accept that as a reality. That's not something that we should walk around like. There's many who have spoken. You know, you mentioned your grandma. I remember my mom used to say, blue-eyed devil. I didn't know what my mother was talking about when we were growing up, you know, but she had a problem. She had something in her where she knew that there was a great injustice coming from these people who were in power over us. And those words were planting seeds in me, planting seeds in my brothers, perhaps, you know. But for the most part, in myself, to be able to start to recognize, you know, who my enemy was. You know, what are you going to say, Brother Lewis?
And this is something that we got to do more of. And I'm saying it again. Your mother, the righteous black women, must be separated from the wicked. And what happens is, too often, we try to categorically mix truth with falsehood.
Teach.
Or hide the truth while we know it. There are some treasonous need to grow women. And I'm gonna be honest about it. A guy like me would put them in the bottom of hell and wouldn't even blink. But by the same token, I would go into hell to free a righteous black woman.
Teach.
So it's very important that we pray for the spirit of discernment and know the difference.
Right.
See, like, there were black women who were raped, and we got all of these different colors. We didn't get these different colors because they were loose and promiscuous. They were raped in many cases. But today, somebody sent me something of a white man beating up his black wife.
Yes.
You know what my response was? That's between him and her because she's a white sex offender. That sounds hard, don't it? It sounds harsh, huh? See, this is my opinion, all right? When you jump out there and you love the white man so much, that you would cross over and go and be with him. And that same white woman would turn you, I mean, same so-called need to grow black woman would turn you over to be lynched by that same white man. Then you're not obligated to give to her what you give to a loyal black woman. See, I want the loyal black women to be rewarded. I don't give my life up. Our life, man, is not for us to give up for somebody who works for the enemy. We got to have this knowledge, all right?
Right.
Now,
go ahead.
Go right ahead, Brother Mike.
Yeah, I was just going to add to this point. I will say this, that when we talk about high level expression of who we are as black men, one of the things that I'd like to inject, and I've been injecting in this conversation, and it's in accordance with what you're saying. When we make a choice, we certainly have to make the choice appropriately for the righteous woman. But we have to set the standard as black men. And I think this is one of the areas that I'm really wanting to make sure that we don't miss, for the other brothers who may be listening, that we don't miss the responsibility, the charge that's on us. We have to stop, and you mentioned this, and I'm just lifting it back up. We have to stop feeding into that. These sisters, again, even the sisters who may be in the pit, the ones who may have made these horrible, these are not all bad. These are not bad women. Most of them are not bad women. They are women who are under the power of an enemy. And so as that goes, she is constantly abused by that decision and or by that condition of being under the enemy. So in one respect, there are some, if they are making a very conscious decision to go be with the slave master, or a conscious decision to be a whore, then yes, yeah, we throw the book at you. But most of our women that are in those conditions, and growing up the way I've grown up, I've seen women in very horrible situations, from being drug addicts, from being prostitutes. Nowadays they have just glorified prostitution. That's all they've done. It's the same prostitution. They have taken and put the same clothing that prostitutes would wear on the streets when I was young. And, you see a prostitute because she would always look, she would always be revealing. And nowadays, this is the condition. This is a norm because of Satan's world. So what I'm saying in part is, this is what we have to go to war with as black men. We have to stop feeding into it. And I think you said something, and Brother John, you all were talking about not giving it attention. This is the message that we have to give to us brothers who are tuning in. I'm getting to the responsibility of black men. We have to stop feeding it. You need to stop being on porn sites. You need to stop going to strip clubs, giving your money up. Like it's a culture. I'm going to the strip club. I've been to one, Brother Lewis, in my day, and it didn't feel good. I went one, and one of my friends was like, "Man, let's go," because he could see me being like I was getting sick, because all I could think about was what made her like that.
Oh God!
I'll do this and I'll do that for you, and then what made her like that? And that's chasing after money, being insecure. See, so this is what we want to be careful that we don't send the message. We're not attacking you, but we're saying these conditions we can't accept. They are unacceptable conditions. These are unacceptable choices, and we have to stop allowing justifications. This is my body. I do what I want to do with it. This fake liberation, which is a lie sewn into your head. The conditions that we're talking about are conditions of women who have not been protected. You see, or as you pointed out, Brother Lewis, which was so beautiful, when you take something so weak and you take the weak and you organize what is weak so powerful that it dominates and it overrules. So we're being constantly poured, what's the word? Saturated, if you will, for lack of a better word, with filth and indecency in movies, in the music, over and over. Our psyche is under a constant attack. America is one of the most oversexed places in the world. I was, on YouTube, I watch a lot of the foreign, little things going on in different parts of the world. And so I come across this little algorithm where they're showing these Zulu women, and they dancing, they be doing this stomp dance, but they come out, they have voluptuous breasts, their breasts are out. Now, of course, we know when we get more, that's a part of our kind of not being as civilized as we need to, but they're not thinking about sex. They're not thinking about breast in a sexualized way that we've been taught to think about breast. Because in America, we've been programmed that way because that's what the white man was on. He was on the black woman's breast. That's what he grew the strength from, is sucking from the breast of the black woman. The enslaved black woman made the most powerful white men who are ruling on the planet right now. Their great-grandfather might have sucked on a black breast, and that shows you how powerful she is in her nature, that the essence and ingredient in her nutrient is power. Now, what I'm saying is that we as black men, as we take our rightful position, we have to become the authority in her life again. And we have to become the brother that goes to that prostitute and say, hey, there's a better way for you. If she rejects that way, then yes, you get what you want. But we have to start holding up a better light to pull them out. I remember a brother was sharing something of the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, those stories that we learned about, different experiences. And they said Honorable Elijah Muhammad, a brother was riding in a car. I don't remember what brother it was, and please forgive me. And any historians in our nation that knows this well, please feel free to type it in now or in the future to correct the exact way that this was told. But just in essence, or in general, understanding of what I remember from it, said a sister walked across and she was very well built, and not dressed appropriately. He said one day we're gonna have to go and whoop her back into doing right in words. You see, we're gonna have to go and make them to come under the power of the black man again. And I know some sisters that might be listening, you got a problem with this. You might have a problem with me as a black man saying that, and you might even want to say, let me go see who the hell you think you are. You might want to even try to attack where I may have fallen short in my life. You might want to look for some flaw, but do your very best. Enjoy yourself in the process. Because what I'm saying is the absolute truth, and what is necessary on the part of black men today is that we have to take the position of authority. If you say you have a problem with the authority of black men, but you accept the authority of the slave master who got you beat down in the street, got your man mass incarcerated, got you out here dressing and twerking and thinking that is what is valuable. And that's not valuable. I'm walking down the street the other day, leaving from getting some food, and right in the corridor of me walking, sisters walking down the street and a brother with a camera, and the cell phone, they turn around right in the middle and start twerking their backside, and the brother is there recording it. I'm like, you ride up the street, and then on top of cars, sister jump out the car, put the music up, and then get in the door and they twerking. Look, we gone mad. We have lost it. You see? So I'm saying, when I talk about men being maintainers today, just to continue to drive the point, is that we have to, as you pointed out, Brother Lewis, we have to raise the standard. And we have to realize who we are as black men and our authority and our power. It is really warfare. This conversation is an act and a declaration really of war against the mentality and the power of our enemy. It is a declaration of war to what's in the mind of black men, what's in the mind of sisters. Being a simp, where you are led by your penis, as a man, cannot be acceptable to you. It just cannot be acceptable that you beg a woman to give you pleasure, or that you take your money and that you spend your money to buy pleasure and treat your sister in such a way. These behaviors, we have to go to war. And as a sister, you have to have to have a moral awakening that you won't allow yourself to be pimped in such a way. But this is what we've come down to under the rule of our enemy. Pimps and hoes, and then simps and hoes. You see what I'm saying? Just what it is, you know? It's what, get the bag, girl, get the bag, get the bag. The bag, what the hell are you talking about? The bag. You're going to be old and lonely with no bag in a minute. You see? And vulnerable as hell in a world that is about to go mad in the attack of women and girls. As the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, that in that day would be very difficult for women and girls. You don't even understand the kind of, I'm sitting at the dinner table with the minister, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he's talking to the sisters. He just breaks out in a conversation just out of, just we talking about one thing, and then he said, sisters, when they come, he said, don't quit, don't give in. He said, fight to the death. He said, if you give up, he talked about the level of gruesomeness of the attack, the abuse that would come to you. He said, fight to the death. You see, because that's
rape.
He talking about rape. He talking about rape. And that's what we're getting at. So when we're talking about men being maintainers of women, you can be angry as hell because you got a problem. You let a song come out, control. See, the devil let control fly high. Independent woman, let it fly high. Though he put money behind those songs. He put money behind songs of
I'm in love with a stripper.
I'm in love with a stripper. You see, he put money behind that, because he wants you to be disconnected from your man, and he wants us to accept that you in the stripper. I'm in love with a stripper. You in love with a woman that hold up, bro. You in love with a woman who every man is in there lusting and masturbating over and rubbing on. You in love with that? You in love with that, bro? We should go to war with this kind of damn thinking. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking about on this, what we're trying to get across on men being maintainers of women on one level. We have to reconstruct how we think. And the black man got to move into absolute power again.
And I hope that his brother Jay is on here, but I hope that brother Jay, brother Tony, I hope y'all chime in
please
on the discussion, because, interesting, brother Mike, that you can't grow a good garden until you first till or disc the soil. You got to get all the grass and all the weeds out. And then, like I said earlier, you got to scarify the area so that the toxins won't affect the new life. And so it is with our women.
Scarifying, break that down, Brother Lewis. Scarifying.
Like anything you build, for those of us who are in construction, you can't just go build a building out on top of grass. You take the bulldozer and you cut the top layer off. Usually it's 6 inches to a foot deep. And you inspect the soil. Soil conditions matter a lot. If the soil is not proper soil, you can't put a building on it. Then you put new soil down and you compact that foundation so that you could start building. Now that's on building something. On farming, you still have to scarify the ground. And then you cut down in it and get all of the grass, you chop it all up, you destroy what was there. And then you roll it back up and make rows, and then you start planting. Our problem in a lot of our relationships, particularly men and women, and all of us have been guilty of this, we don't start out right. We don't start out right, and we skip the scarification. Courting in the Nation of Islam, the courting process is really like scarification and dissing up to find out, are you actually compatible? Does this person actually believe in your vision? Do y'all have competing agendas? This could be possibly a good person, but a competing agenda, and it won't work either. So these are just some things. But I saw Brother Jay's hand, so I'm going to stand down and let Brother Jay. You got the mute on, Brother Mike. We can't hear you.
It's all good.
I was just saying before Brother Jay speaks.
Brother Jay.
Brother Jay.
Brother Jay, Malik Salam, brother. Good to see you, soldier. But I was saying this before Brother Jay speaks, that we want all brothers on this call. We want you to weigh in. We want you to tap in. We're just trying to make sure we keep this energy going on this subject because it's a very significant subject. But please weigh in, open up and share what you think, whatever thought you may have or that you may have jotted down. Brother Jay, what's good, my brother? Good to see you, man.
You as well. You as well.
Yes, sir.
I think this is a loaded topic, a good topic, especially for my age group. It seemed like every week I'm talking about social engineering.
Yeah.
He who controls the media controls the mind of the people. And it's just translated to TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. And, I'm a little biased because I think it all falls back on us as men, no matter what they're doing.
Yes, sir. That's the point, brother.
Yeah, because, most of us in the community are followers. Our identity is lost. We may not have been born with an identity that kind of dates back to the household structure, if you will, right? Because sometimes you can grow up in a 2-parent household and that 2-parent household be detrimental. It's more detrimental than a single parent household. But everything I think boils down to the core principles and values that you were raised upon. Even if you veer off track for a while, at the back of your mind, you even move a certain type of way, out of fear, if you will, of your parents not finding out certain things. So you may be peer pressured into, what your peers, if you will, like as I grew older, I stopped saying that I was a product of my environment and stated that I was a product of my decision making, because that's all it boils down to at the end of the day. I've never been punked, and somebody making me do something. It's just not really. I realized after a certain age, if you will, you got to lose your image and begin to find your identity. So with that being said, the topic of masculine and feminine energy is kind of interesting because, like we discussed last week, you got to define a lot of these things. Feminine energy is often identified as being a little bit more emotional. That's why most of the time our women, they love the church so much because of the theatrics, if you will, how it make them feel. All the praising, jumping around, hooping and hollering, as I call it. No knock to nobody and their beliefs though. But where men, it's like, how does this apply to me? We're more practical, if you will, of how does this apply to me in real life? How can I use this in real life application? So all the screaming and, give me some water and I need to wipe myself down. We're more so like, hurry up and get on with the message, to see how I can use this. But back to the social media piece, and it kind of all tie everything in together. A lot of things and a lot of beliefs are inherited, right? So you may just go along with the flow, of saying I'm praying and, what are you praying to? Who are you praying to?
That's right.
And having that understanding. So if you don't even have the understanding on that level, you kind of go through life without that. It's cheaper to keep a, happy wife, happy life. And all these silly sayings that we were raised upon in our community. But I often say that,
that's right.
Many of us think we have a standard, but in reality, all we have is a type. A big booty Betty, that's a red bone, pimps up, hoes down, like you said, Michael. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Look at some of the tattoos that we get on ourselves at a young age. It kind of, shapes our or revisits our mind frame, if you will, the mind state that we was in. Money over everything, money over bitches and those type of words. And, just that's the mind frame that we are put in at and really deprived of our youth. If I'm being all the way honest, because it's a corrupt minded before you can meet a good brother like Brother Michael, Brother John, or Sister whomever. You going into it with a corrupt mind frame. So a lot of times we love out of fear instead of trying to love to actually build a solid foundation to grow upon. So again, many of us have a type when we should have a standard, because when you have a standard, you'll know what alignment looks like when you see a
Teach.
partner, right? I mean, it's no knock. I know nobody here is knocking anybody, but I don't really know what purpose like a Cardi B serve other than to be a distraction, if you will, on a greater scheme of things, because it's like, man, y'all don't need a man. What you need a man for?
That's right.
Because I mean, that's we can peel back so many layers, because what is a man for?
Right.
They've taught us that a man's job is to provide financially.
Right.
A man's job is to provide, but it's not just financially.
That's right.
It may be, mental support.
That's right.
In a real way, though. You still got to bring that money home too. Don't get it twisted.
You got to go get it. Yes, sir.
Because a lot of brothers, we got to hold them accountable. They'll like to cop out, and say it's not all about money, and it's not about money. But Les Brown say money right up there with oxygen.
Yeah,
you need it to survive.
Yes,
sir. That's the differentiating factor. The money is the differentiating factor if your kid's gonna go to school with parents who think like Cardi B.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
Or is it going to be some type of private teaching? But I'll kind of land it there. That's just what I wanted to say.
Right on point.
It all start with the leadership of us,
Yes,
and they'll follow suit.
Right on point, brother. And that's why we really went so hard with this subject, and what it's saying is really the word of Allah. It's the word of God, out of the Holy Quran. He said, men are maintainers of women. That right there places the responsibility solely on us as brothers, as men. And which means that we have to do a certain work. I remember just being in the ranks, and I'm grateful for this, because I've been studying, and of course I have no stretch of the imagination perfect. I've had my ups and downs, and I'm still learning. But I just remember how the minister would teach, and he would always be much, much more harder on the brothers. He would always put a harder responsibility on us. And and if you're a brother and you're real sensitive, you may not quite understand that, especially if you're dealing with a situation where maybe the woman doesn't, give you the kind of love or express love in a way that you really need, or may just be kind of resisting you, or rebelling, or whatever the case may be. So you might be like, well, how is that so? It's because as a man, if the black man is God, and he is, if we are God, then at what point in our Father do we find or read in his word or a description of Allah where he makes an excuse? You see, he doesn't make excuses. You don't hear him making excuses about creation. He don't make excuses about the enemy, what the enemy is doing. He don't make excuses about anything. So if Christ is being formed in us, if Allah is being formed in us, that's the attitude that we have to develop. That's the spirit, the mind that we have to have as men, is that it is our responsibility. We can really go clean our sister up. We talking about her, not out of being negative toward her or condemning her. She's already been condemned by what the enemy is doing to her. She's a tool of the enemy. Sexy Red, these little sisters are tools of the enemy. They were just trying to make some music and some money, and they figured if I go dirty down in the dirt, filthy, the enemy will certainly use me. And that's exactly what the enemy has done. And so the enemy uses them, and then now little girls are growing up with filthy, filthy songs in their mouth. Filthy, filthy songs. But look, let's back it up. The songs weren't so clean when we were growing up, you know? When we talk about music, for instance, the music was programming us, and we weren't even aware of it. We slow dancing to 11 years I should have left your blank blank a long time ago. You see, we slow dance into that. You know what I'm saying? We slow dance into songs that are about cheating and breaking, fornicating and whatever. We being programmed by our enemy. So the filth has always been put into our head, into our psyche. Today, as Brother Jay, you pointed out, social media is a major factor. But we've been getting it a very, very long time, because the enemy knew that we were starting to wake up as a people. So As we wake up, how do you get us? You got to go at our head. You got to go in music. You got to go in our faith. Just like now he's social engineered homosexuality. It's pervasive. You
And
know, you
when
take
you
the
say
father,
he,
the enemy. Yeah.
but what little group are you talking about?
I'm talking specifically when you want to get, and that's a very good question, specifically about these Zionist Jews. And I'll just say it straight up. They are the number one promoters of pornography, Hollywood. They control the music industry. They control
Really?
television program. They
Really?
control nearly every aspect of information that we're receiving from entertainment in the sports world. At every part of it, they control some form of the life and of Black people. And see, so when Kanye was coming out talking, and everybody want to keep calling the brother crazy, he's not crazy in everything that he was saying. He's not crazy, period, if you ask me. He was saying exactly what is the truth. And when he was challenging them, many are afraid, so we can be called anti-Semitic. Well, hell, I've already hit the list. Praise be to Allah. You know, I was on the list. I made the list. Allahu Akbar, a Southern Poverty Law Center. You know, I was hit. You know, they didn't acknowledge me. Thank you, devils, for letting me know I was on the right path. But my point is that they are the purveyors that are promoting this over and over again in our community. They're controlling. They're the managers. They're the script writers in television. They're the one telling the brothers to go put on the dress. They're the one telling the sisters now to go out here and sleep on, you know, with any man. They push the narrative. A love movie. Next thing you know, you're sitting in the movie, and before you know it, you're being assaulted and mentally, and you gotta put your hand over your children's eye. But hell, you can't even go to an R-rated movie because the cartoons are R-rated now. This is how much he's engineering this against us.
I'm so glad you said it, because we talked about being hard. Farrakhan is hard.
Yes.
Farrakhan, he uncovered that little group. And you can read about this in the Bible, because everybody here is not a Muslim, certainly not. In Revelations 2 and 9 and Revelations 3 and 9 and John 8 and 44, where Jesus is talking to him. But it's interesting because we talk about social engineering, but now is the time where we need to know who are those social engineers.
Right.
And from what community do they come from? Gloria Steinem, she was the queen of this feminist movement. Black women didn't know nothing about that. What community is she from? Prohibition, alcohol, drugs, Seagum 7, Mr. Brunfman. What community is he from?
Right.
Remember, they had Oprah and they had Ricky Lay and they had Marvy and they had Jerry Springer's. Jerry. Making
Jew boy.
What community? I'm just asking. What community?
He was Jewish. Yeah.
What group are they from?
Hugh Hefner.
Hugh Hefner. In 1959, there was a major slander assault against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam, because Islam had Aretha Franklin and even Bill Cosby coming to the mosque. And they immediately put up the Playboy Mansion over in Chicago. And that was the first place they started integrating the Playboy Mansion. First called The Guy Next Door. But what community? And Larry Flynn with Hustler magazine and pornography. What community? I'm just asking. I mean, maybe they should do the research. Where are they from? What community are they from? And interesting enough, all of these people hate the minister because they say he teach hate. And he's anti this and anti that. But we're just asking questions, because now what I've noticed is that since the minister put out all of this information, I hear Candace Owens talking
Yes, Tucker.
about a certain little group.
Yes.
I hear Tucker Carlson.
Yes.
I hear a lot of different people now seeming to think that this little group that's in Revelations 2:9 and 3:9
Man of sin.
actually the ones who are causing us to fight and kill one another. Now we know about slavery, but who were the architects of the slave trade? What community did they come from? Because if we're going to talk about being the maintainers of our women,
Come on.
then we gotta know
Who the enemy?
who is interfering with our maintenance. I'm gonna
Brother, you're covering it. I mean, I'm so grateful how this thing comes together so beautifully, how the God blesses us to develop sensitiveness, if you will, if I could say that. But you're right on point. You gotta identify. I think I said it in the opening with your enemy. You gotta know who the enemy is, because when you know who the enemy is, you can understand the attack. Let's go even further, and I'm coming to your brother Tony. But you got to go even further. You got to know who Satan is. See, and that's who we're talking about. That's who we are talking about right now. We're talking about masters. These people have been mastering us, mastering the original people, manipulating us in our nature, manipulating us in our religion, manipulating us in our sexual appetite, poisoning the food, poisoning the water.
Same little group.
One little group, and right now wagging the tail of this big dog called the United States of America, which has is going over fighting foreign wars that have nothing to do with anything that has happened in this country. So when you think about black people, since we can stay on course with that, they have attacked us severely in the Republican Party, in the Democratic Party. That's why you're a fool to choose a side. You worried about him, you need to worry about who's controlling all of those politicians who are manipulating and controlling policies that have adverse effect on black children, black women, black men, who kept black men out of the household so that we would not be in authority over our children. But in their household, they are the supreme authority.
That's right.
Their women obey them. They put the music out, control. They put the music out telling you to disobey and disrespect, dishonor, and that you don't need your man. But then they put their songs, classical music, things that help elevate the vibration of thought, that feed the consciousness, that helps their children to be more intelligent. They're giving us low frequency, and we're dying. Brother Tony. Come to my beloved brother.
Go ahead and finish your thought, bro.
I'm ready for you, brother. I had finished it. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All praises due to Allah. Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Kareem.
I was listening to the brothers, man, because y'all been cooking all night, and I was content to listen. And I guess I just really, lifted up my voice because there was a couple of points that Brother John had made earlier.
Yes.
And what it brought to mind as I sat and listened to the evolution of the conversation was something something that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, but I want to say this before I say that. Satan says in the Holy Quran, I only called you and I had no power over you, and you came.
Right.
Let me say that again. I only called you, and I had no, and I bear witness. He was bearing witness before Allah. I had no control over you. I only called you, and you came.
Right.
In the most profound series of lectures that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us, he said that if you listen to me, I will have you in the Theology of Time lecture. I will have you so smart. You can have the devil wrapped around your pinky finger like a string, and you'll say, what do I have there? See, but the problem is, did we listen to him? Because if we had listened to him, the success that that he had made, we would have compounded up until today. And so we can talk about the little small hats, but they are just that. They are small hats. And the problem in psychological warfare, they'll have you focusing on your attention on the threat of a shadow that has no power. Why? Because either God is real or he's not. And if God is real, then we have to go not to what this small hat is doing, but the one who gave him divine power and authority to do what he's doing. And as a scientist, we need to utilize our God mind and ask, is his job done yet? Because if God gave him the authority to do his job, then only God can end it. Only God can decide when he finishes that job. Now, if this is the key here, if the black man is God, then that decision can lie with us. But unfortunately, many of us have turned God back into a mystery God. I was talking to believers in the Nation of Islam who turned Master Farad Muhammad into a mystery God. No. Listen to what I'm saying. If you do not understand and properly interpret what he revealed of the reality of God, you will take the divine supreme being and you will cast him into a shadow and you will make him a mystery God all over again. So when we are talking about men being the maintainers of women, we are talking about, this is the woman of God, not the woman of man. So if a man is going to be a maintainer of women, then that definite article, the man, the original man, is a God.
Is a God.
So you have to go back into the essence of who we are as men if we are going to maintain these women. Otherwise, we won't be qualified to. Because let me tell you something here. See, it was for no reason that this white man rendered us and said we are 3/5 of a human being, because he understood something. See, we go back to Henry Berry saying, I have as far as possible cut off all avenue by which light might enter into the slave's mind. Now, in Black's dictionary, light meant divine knowledge in the 1800s. So he knew what he was talking about. You see what I'm saying? So there are things that makes a man essentially a man. There's a difference between essential properties and common properties. Common properties that we are all born from a woman. So we got a penis. We have 2 arms, 2 legs. Those are common properties, you see, but common properties are not essential properties. See, if an essential property is removed, then that fundamentally changes the thing in question. So you can remove my arm, I'm still essentially a man. You can remove my leg, I'm still essentially a man. But those are just common properties. It's common for me to have 2 arms. It's common for men to have 2 legs, but it's not essential. What is essential is divine light, life, and power that makes you a man, that makes you a living human being. And that is why they did not want to classify us as human beings under the Constitution. I suggest anybody go get those old writings of the founding fathers of the constitutional writings of the Constitution of the United States of America, and why they said, yes, sir. And why they said some of the things that they said. But going back to, and I just want to be quick, going back to men are the maintainers of women. In order to maintain something, as Brother Lewis said earlier, you have to have control of it. And control comes from what? It comes through cooperation. See, a lot of brothers, and I was talking to some young brothers the other day about some conversations that, because we were still discussing their marriages and why there's so much divorce running rampant, even in our Nation of Islam, where we say we have supreme wisdom.
That's right.
Do you know why? Because many people got married. Brother Lewis mentioned the courtship process. We don't understand the value of it. We don't understand some of the things that we left out. Much of what should be in there And we were talking about this in the laborers meetings. Some of the things that should have been in there came directly out of the mouth of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we have to remember he got them from God himself. And we are taking words, even the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's words do not trump the words coming from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. No matter how much we love our minister, they do not trump them. He said he gave us the best that he could. You see what I'm saying? We gotta remember that. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad never said I gave you the best that I could. He said that I can remember every conversation that I had with Master Farad Muhammad, word for word, and that is what I'm giving you. So we got to be clear on that now. And so I'm saying that to say that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that it is the woman who chooses men. The man don't do the choosing. So if a man chooses a woman and he takes a woman, and if a man does choose take for himself a woman, and that woman has not chose him, you can give her all of the money in the world, and she'll still be dissatisfied. Do you know why? Because there are some things that are essential about her nature that money can't change. There are some essential things about that woman. Her spiritual blueprint and fingerprint is her spiritual blueprint is just as unique as her physical fingerprint. It's just that unique. And there might be a good man. It might be a brother who's a good father, but he might not hit the right note with that sister because she didn't choose him, because there is something essential in her nature that tells her what she is looking for. And he just might not have it. He could have the money, he could be responsible and have the discipline, but he might not have that which complements her essential divine nature. And we'll make the mistake when we get there, and then we'll have men who sit now on these you'll see them on these podcasts today, and they don't want to step up and take their responsibility because we'll blame the woman's misbehavior for how we respond to her as men, when like the younger brother Jay, and I love him so much, said it automatically falls on us. It has nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? It falls on us regardless to how she behaves. Do you know why? Because I don't give a damn if that woman is poor, broke, desperate, or prostitute in the streets. She still, if her womb is active, can reproduce your black ass. And that is the most important thing in God's creation. Is that he says in the Holy Quran, everything in the heavens and the earth, your money, your fame, your cuteness, your long swinging dick, all of that's going to pass away, but there shall endure forever the person of thy Lord. That is the most important thing with God. You see what I'm saying? What that womb is able to produce. So we have to remember and respect not only her physical womb, but the womb of her mind. Because a woman has a womb in her mind where she is able to carry and execute the ideas of a man as well. That's why she is called given so many different names. Hava, she's given Sama, she's given Azar, which means savior, because she can save the man. The divine being in the Bereshit, in the Genesis, in Hebrew, he gave Eve the name Azar as savior because she was an answer to his prayer, and she saw him saving him from death. You see what I'm saying? That's the key in her womb, man. So I just wanted us to, to share with the brothers those things from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was the best expression that we had of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But our beloved minister is going to pass away, and Allah does not stop with no one man.
That's right.
The nation of Islam, I'm talking about the original nation of 76 trillion years, did not rise on the minister. It's not going to set on him. I love him to death. He going to be in my heart. As long as I'm alive, his name going to be mentioned. But I am not going to take him as an idol and and turn the God himself into another idol, as if we do not have a connection with these beings that we need to be proclaiming to the world today.
Right.
Listen what I'm saying, though, because I remember last week one of the brothers mentioned who is the original man. See, there's a distinction in that. That's present perfect tense. Who is the original man? Not who was the original man.
Is.
Because Yakub taught his people to contend with us over the realities of God, knowing that we could not produce who? That original one. But that original one is not the original man today. That's why the messenger said that if he came back, he wouldn't even recognize his own creation, because we have built so much up on it. But the original man, the Lord of creations, we know who that one is today. And we are in his image. This is why it says, eye has not seen, ear has not turned, ear has not heard, nor has it entered into the hearts. Because look at us. We have been reduced to the primordial material that God used to create himself out of that triple darkness. And we have to remember that our woman has too.
Yes.
So we are coming up out of primordial darkness, not just the darkness of sin, not just the darkness of ignorance. We are coming out of the primordial darkness of the creation and the creative nature of God himself. So this is not a bad thing, brothers and sisters. Brothers.
Your ancestors may be listening.
And sisters who are listening. This is not a bad thing. We are at the beginning stages of a new everlasting.
Yes.
And we are born at such a important point in history that everything that God has allowed us to go through was made us this unique and extraordinary people that we should not take our experience lightly. I know that when we get, like the minister said, he warned us about fasting too much, because he said the messenger said it would make you not want to be among your people. We can clean up to a degree that it does become difficult for you to bear the misbehavior and the abominable, just outright savagery of our people. It will turn your stomach. But if we maintain our discipline and we do not make our God into an idol, know that he is a living God, that he is actively involved in what we are going through, then we rely on him. And then those answers start to come to us. And when those answers start to come to us, those answers will be superior to any other answers or suggestions that the enemy can put out there. And the people will see us as the lights that we were meant to be, and they will start to not only come to us for answers, but they will start to look for us to be the leaders of the new world that God intended for us to be. Assalamu alaikum, fam.
Wa alaikum salam. Let me say, brother, thank you so much, Brother Tony, for such a beautiful, beautiful expression and wisdom and knowledge that you just dropped straight up, and the thought that's keep hitting my head: the black man is God. You see, and that's something that we have to fully embrace, the coming of God and giving us the true identity of God. Allah in person, giving us true identity of the nature of God and how that nature operates and through whom that nature operates, who is naturally that, is essential. And what you said about our sisters is very important. It reminds me of what the minister said in the study guide 19, which is the signature of Allah. He said the woman is the key to the kingdom. That's the basis of why this subject is so important tonight. And Brother Jay is right. And if you would have caught the opening, we talk about that responsibility of the man as the maintainer in the beginning of what we were talking about, right in alignment, because what we're saying is essentially,
yes, sir. I caught you live on Facebook before I you was
Praise
cooking. That's why I said you was cooking that thing.
Praise be to Allah. It is our responsibility, Brother Tony. You 100% right. I can't say I'm a God and then be confronted with a problem that I don't have the mind and the will and the desire and the
propensity, the militancy to overcome. It's our job to conquer the enemy and take back our woman. You know, so if she's the key to the kingdom, that is absolutely why we have to go 100% to war. So you really open it up, because we got to understand what we're fighting for. What we got to understand what we have to be, why we have to become God. And I appreciate you qualifying men in the sense of what the Quran is referring to. Because the Quran is not talking about ordinary men. I appreciate how you lifted that, Brother Tony, because that's important. He's talking about men who are imbued, who are becoming, who are God men, because she's not the woman of man, but the woman of God. And you're right about idol worship, and you're right, have made Master Fardma, made the Son of Man, made the God into a mystery like God, very much so, which means that we lose the necessary relationship identification. You see, that is important to drive what is in us, that is God. See, and that's why I say unapologetically, brothers, we have to be men and take on our rightful and responsibility and role. This is our woman, no matter what her condition is. It's our woman. And when we become God-like men, listen, there's not a woman by the grace of Allah that I deal with since I have been a follower of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, friend, otherwise it don't make a difference. She will never be able to say that I have not deposited some wisdom. I don't come in the company of people and not try to put something in them from the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, especially my sisters. If we friends or other, any friend, sister, anybody will tell you that that's what I'm doing. I'm going to always do that, because that is our assignment, because that is the vessel, as you put it out so beautifully, Brother Tony, that all the life is coming through, man. I mean, and so I don't see how we're going to ever escape that. That's why we got to go to war to get her back. I was talking to a sister. She said, I was talking about this very subject because I'm talking about the fact that we were about to entertain this subject. And I mentioned, I said, well, I started talking just like I'm saying now. We got to take over. And the sister said, we will all fall in line. She didn't give no resistance to the idea. She said they would fall in line. Sister pointed out here on Facebook what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching the sisters in MGT. Sister Amatullah pointed out what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching in the class. You know, he's putting a new mind in the sisters. And you right, Brother Tony. We also have to be very careful not to set up idolatry, idol worship in that process. You see, so we got to make sure that the connection, all of us who say we are trying to scale into the mind of God to become what we need to become, we got to connect with the source of our existence, period. There's no way we're going to meet that rendezvous with our natural and righteous destiny until we fully and completely, connect with the God and embrace fully the God, so that God within us can continue to grow and we can become like our Father. Brother Hoyle.
Absolutely. Wait a minute. Let me get in. Hold on 1 second. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think, there you go.
Yeah, you was on, brother. We heard you, but you just went back to mute mode,
Okay.
There you go.
Yes, sir. Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Kareem, sir.
Beautiful. Brother Tony knocked it right out the park.
Absolutely.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful narrative there, and he just put it right on the head. I wanted to, again, I'm going to say piggyback, if we're going to use that word. I just want to add to that. This is from Torchlight of America, when the promoting positive relationship between the sexes. And he says, neither male.
Face the mic, bro.
Get closer to your microphone, yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay. Sorry about that, please. It says, neither male nor female can feel their relationships to each other until they are first properly connected to the source of all creation, which is God. This is why the divorce rate is so high. The dissatisfaction rate.
Brother Hoyle, we really want to hear what you're saying, brother, because what you're saying is right on point. Is there? How are you holding your phone? I don't know. Is it your phone?
I might have to take this off.
Yeah, you might. Yeah,
this
get us that pure audio. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Give it to us now, brother, because I hear parts of it, and it's just too good to not get it all. So
yes, sir.
Go ahead and lay it out,
so
brother.
What I had is charger. Got some charger. Sorry about that, brothers. And this is a beautiful, and this adds on to what Tony was saying. And I'm gonna read it over again. Female can fulfill their relationships to each other until they are first properly connected to the source of all creation, which is God. This is why the divorce rate is so high and the dissatisfaction rate in the relationships between the sexes is high. The natures of male and female are different, are meant to complement each other. In the absence of knowledge, can work destructively against the self and against the union of both. The fundamental knowledge that is absent in male-female relationships is how we should relate to God. This is Tony hit the head. And now listen to this. It said, it is our disconnection from God that is at the root of failing in proper relationships between a man and woman. This is the very deep problem in the relationship between black women. One of the major crimes perpetrated against us when we were brought into slavery was that the true and proper relationship between us.
I don't know why you going in and out like that.
Yeah, you still going in and out. What kind of device are you on a headphone or something, brother?
No, I'm
Because something. Are you on speakerphone?
Yeah, I don't know what is.
Yeah, maybe.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, but it's cool because it's such a good. What are you reading from? Could you also put that in the chat because the Torchlight?
Yeah, Torchlight of America. And I pulled this book out because it's going to what he was saying, and it's one of the crimes perpetrated against us when we were brought into slavery was that the true and proper relationship between us and God was severed. Now y'all hear that? Y'all hear that, Paul?
No, sir.
It said the proper relationship with God and us was severed.
Did you hear that? The relationship between us and God was severed.
Severed, right? Did you hear that?
Yes, I caught that. Yeah, I just repeated it. They heard me. Yeah, yes.
The slave master stood in place of God and made us relate.
You're gone again.
Dang.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Hey, send those pages, brother. Anybody got the Torchlight in front of them? We need to have that read because I think
good. Then it just goes up.
Yeah, but anybody got a copy of the Torchlight on the call? Please, let's assist Brother Hoyle because I know what he's trying to get at because it's a very good piece, and it is important. The disconnect that we have from the God is the source of the problems that we are suffering. And that's what's leading to the high level of divorce. And I remember reading that in the Torchlight and the minister teaching on that, which is at the root of the divorce rate. We're not solving problems with God frequency. We're solving problems with emotions and feelings in some instances. And as men, defeated sense of masculinity.
Yeah.
But this is why I'm telling you, brothers, this subject is ordained by the God himself anyway.
That's right.
I promise you, because it's right out of the Quran. And so when we're not talking about Negroes maintaining. Negroes can't maintain nothing. You can't, if you're a real man, you can't even get with a woman or be with a woman. I don't care what status she is. If you're a real man and a God-led man, then you mold with wisdom from God, you mold that woman. You see, I'm not saying teach her how to be a woman. I'm not saying that, but your righteous God nature will inspire what's in her. This is the way Allah made her. You see, and this is why we got to struggle. So we as men have to really work hard on ourselves to rise to the occasion of what is in our nature so that the light can shine through us. That's our responsibility. I think another brother, Hoyle, I want you to get that phone worked out, man, because we need to hear you, brother, when you're putting out that light. That was some good stuff. I caught pieces of it.
9 pages.
Say what?
Pages 99 and 99 and 100.
99 and 100. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Torchlight. All right. Thank you,
Yes,
beloved.
sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but you know, brothers, this is that because it's really profound truth. You know, and truth bears witness to itself. Allah says his own right arm, it upheld him. But that's crucial, man. You know,
Yes, sir.
I love this conversation, and I love what I believe Allah is doing with us in these dialogues, you know, on brotherhood, because it is about us really taking a real hard look at ourselves and what we have to become. We don't have to be perfect. Ain't nobody on here pretending that we dropped out the sky, and none of that's in play. But what we are saying is that it is our duty and our responsibility to become what is in our nature at all costs, to fight with everything that we have to become that, each one of us, and that we all have a purpose. This is what Brother Tony was tapping in on, you know, even with regard to who we are and how we relate to God. We have to understand that he specifically chose us out of billions of people that have been on earth before us and that will come behind. We are a pivot ourselves. Our moment is very, very important moment, very significant moment that we're in right now. And so we have to embrace it fully and start to make sure we're properly identifying with him and identifying with who we are. Period. I don't care what anyone else has to say. Their opinion doesn't matter. You see, we have to accept what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us. He said, God told him. He never deviated from using that kind of language when he referenced and quoted. He always made sure you knew exactly where he got it from. Brother John?
Oh, yes, sir. I was answering some questions. Brother was texting me.
Oh, okay.
Brother Tony hit it dead on the nose. I had this written down, and I was praying that what I was saying would spark this. Let me go back to what I actually wrote here. And it had to be with the, and he went right into it. Proverbs 23:7.
Yeah.
As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So, you know, the verse is not only poetry, but it's the blueprint of what Brother Tony was saying and what Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us.
Yes.
Our life, our ability to maintain is based on our God thought process.
Come on.
You can't build like a God if you're not thinking like a God.
Teach, black man.
If your mind isn't cluttered with weakness, excuses, resentment, we were saying earlier, God don't make no excuses. Didn't you say that earlier?
That's right.
Right? Almost no myths. So we got to clean up this blueprint, not Jay-Z's blueprint, just that blueprint up here. The structure has to rise and remain strong. So a man who thinks he's equal to his woman will never maintain her. I'll say that again. A man who thinks he's equal to his woman will never maintain her. A man who thinks that she is beneath him will never honor her or maintain her. A maintainer or a God thinks like this: that's my woman. I'm going to lead. I'm the shield. My thoughts, everything I do, protect her, or it's going to destroy her. But above all, as I think, so shall it be. And so when I rise, she rise, my children rise, we all rise, the nation rise.
That's right. That's right. That's right, Brother John. Absolutely. Absolutely, brothers. Any other brothers on the call? We want to get some brothers to tap in. We see you, brother Daryl. We see you in the building. Good to see you. I don't know who some of the other brothers are on the call, but we just want to welcome you, man, to weigh in, or weigh in with your thoughts. If you have questions or anything, however you want to weigh in. We welcome you to do so because every one of us has a contribution to make to the edification of our people. And that's the beauty of brotherhood. It means helper. The brother is a helper to a brother, and as we've been taught, the hood represents a covering, that we provide for each other. So it is a safe space, if you will, for brothers to be able to express their thoughts from their perspective, and of course, in a loving, brotherly way. Brother Samuel, please. Unmute your phone, Brother Samuel, or your device. There you go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My fault. It's been a while since I used Zoom.
Yes, sir.
My coworker invited me to listen into this conversation tonight, and I'm actually at work right now while I'm listening. But so
Yes,
I heard parts here and there, but just wanted to chime in on some of the things I did hear you all say. I think it was you earlier that said something along the lines of I said men had to hold accountability for the state and not of ourselves, but the state of our women as well too. And not, one of the things I think I heard you say was just not feeding into the things that we say that we find unfavorable, because if we weren't in the market for it, then it wouldn't be happening.
Yes. Teach.
A conversation I was having with my brother not too long ago, we kind of just like compared it to the drug trade. Like if it wasn't anybody, it wasn't anybody in the market for drugs, it wouldn't be anybody selling drugs. It wouldn't be lucrative. It wouldn't be nothing to it wouldn't be any gain in it. And I think that we kind of had to adopt that same mentality. It's hypocritical if we're gonna sit here and point out the flaws of a Black woman, and we saying that we promoting whole culture, we promoting being promiscuous, or promoting all these things that we saying that they promoting, but we here feeding into it as well, because they're not selling it to themselves. We don't want giving them a platform for it.
Come on.
And I think I just heard somebody say something about you losing if you thinking that I don't want to misquote them, but you losing if you thinking that the woman is beneath you, or I forget exactly what the other statement was, but I find myself in that situation right now with my wife, with us, as far as me not looking at it like I'm trying to be superior to her, or she has to feel in whatever I don't have. Like I'm at work right now because I need to make it happen. I got 3 jobs I'm working right now. And even still with the 3 of them, she still make a little bit more than me, but I'm still not gonna be like, you gotta pay for more than me, because that's the situation. Because God willing, I'm gonna get to the point where I'm gonna be able to handle everything. So whatever she wanna do, the plan is that whatever she wanna do, she'll have the time and the space to do that, because everything else that needs to be handled and needs to be accounted for, I already got. And I'm of the mentality that it's gonna get there, because I'm going to do what needs to be done to get there. It's not an excuse of being made of why it's not that, why it's not the current situation. It just hasn't happened yet. I heard someone say earlier that God doesn't make excuses, and I 100% agree. I think it was the mentality of I think the statement was something along the lines of just being equal, or the mentality being equal. And that's I'm a teacher. One of my other jobs, that's one thing that I'm trying to get instilled in the boys there. They got this concept of I'm gonna match your energy. It is be of a man or a woman or whomever, I'm gonna match your energy. And they got a real big issue with fighting girls. They get upset. A girl say something to them, I'm gonna hit a girl, I'm gonna fight this young lady. And I'm trying to get them to out of the mindset of it, because it really not logical when you think about it. As a man, if you matching your energy with a woman, you're not no longer putting yourself on the level of being a man no more. Because I say it in a way that's a little bit more relatable or jarring to them, but the point the same. Like, why would you supposed to set the pace? You're not supposed to allow another man to take you off of your square and off your level. And if you're gonna be the leader and you taking yourself out of leadership position to just match energy with people, then how you leading, how you putting yourself in position to guide anybody towards anything.
Absolutely.
Just some of the things that I that stood out to me that I heard y'all talking about tonight. And it's a powerful conversation. I appreciate my brother for inviting me to it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate y'all for being here.
Thank you so much, brother. And thank you so much for tapping in, weighing in, brother, and sharing your thought process. I want to just extend much love to you, brother, and respect. I appreciate you. I feel your heart and your vibration. Also want to appreciate the fact that you are a real soldier out here trying to work 3 jobs. It's hard on the black man out here, bro. You know what I'm saying? And the enemy makes it easy for our women, respectfully. We thank God for them because they can help us too, even if they make a little more bread. But the enemy designs it like that, brother, and that's really to kind of attack and demean us in some instance. But to hear you and to hear what you're saying, you speak from the heart of many of all of us, I believe, because all of us want to do exactly what you're talking about. And that is to hold it 100% down for our family in the best way we can. But you're doing that. And I just want to let you know, much respect to that. And also, you're right about what's going on with the young people. This is an engineered thing out here now, where they are neutralizing the masculine and the feminine in a way that you as a man, these young brothers don't feel like that they feel like it's okay to punch and beat a woman down, and then these sisters is also rising up trying to feel like they can challenge the brother in a certain way. These are all engineered things. You can see how all the way through the enemy is perpetually keeping us fighting each other, because right now I believe the most crucial and significant thing that must happen, and I think Brother Lewis, Brother Tony, all of you have been saying it in some way or another, is that we unite with our sister properly, and that we unite in a way that helps to produce divine masculinity and putting the divine masculine and divine feminine together. This is the unstoppable force. Look, as I pointed out in the opening, Kul ul Allah ahad. Say he, Allah, is one. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we are all Allah. You see, so we have to become one. We have to, as men, have to be in touch. We even have to study the feminine aspect of our nature. We have to be able to be okay with that. And that don't mean you got a girl on the inside, bro. It just means that you have the duality. If God is man and God has the duality of his own nature. In fact, he went inside, as Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and in his loneliness, he said he went inside. He needed some comfort and some consolation. And he discovered within himself a second self. And that second self of God is the woman. That's why the attributes, and I mentioned just a couple of them: beneficent, merciful, the healer, the destroyer, the redeemer, the accounter. All his attributes are balanced. They're feminine and masculine. They're hard, Brother Lewis, and soft. You know what I'm saying? They have all that's, it's a balance in what Allah, the Mizan is the scripture we learn in Arabic, the balance, keep up the balance, you see? So we are off balanced. We are off balanced as brothers, as a people. I know I 100% can testify. You got brothers that say, I don't need a woman no more. Later for that, they done lost their mind. That's a sign of insanity. Or to hear a woman say she doesn't need a man. That's a sign of insanity. These are insane thinking processes, because you will become so frustrated with the fact that we're not able to get along properly that you have given up on the natural process of life itself. You see, so these conversations, brother, and I appreciate you, Brother Samuel, a beautiful name, by the way. I appreciate you, for weighing in and lifting that up and just participating, because that energy you bring, helps us to all consecrate and grow as brothers, but we have to all, brothers, go to war so that we can reestablish the proper relationship. We have to drop wisdom. We have to drop wisdom and know the effectiveness of the wisdom that we're speaking. I talk to people, and I'll just come to you, Brother Lewis, but I talk to people and to sisters or brothers. I know I'm not guessing. I don't feel like I need to argue. In fact, I don't argue. You know what I'm saying? I can listen to somebody and allow them to get their thought out, and then I'm gonna drop what I know is an invincible truth. You see, an invincible truth. So there don't have to be any emotion from me tied to it, because that emotion means I'm trying to prove something that I may have a subtle degree of doubt or insecurity about in my expression. But when you know you have the truth, just drop it everywhere you go. And that's what we have to do with the young brother Samuel. You know, we got to keep sprinkling and keep dropping the young sisters everywhere we go. Every time we encounter a young brother, a young sister, just drop it. Don't judge. I'm rolling around with my son, you know, they cut differently. This boy is a god, man. I'm in the car with my son. He's a god. I'm seeing the boy be a god. He don't look like what I may think the God should look like. I'm learning myself, but he coming from my loins, and he come out of a body of wisdom. His thinking is different. The man, he just recently moved here, and he moved all by himself, independent at a young 23. And I'm like, listen, understand. I said, I respect you so much, son. I'm so proud of you. I respect you so much. You know, it's important that we understand that these are different kinds of human beings, that we're being made into a different human being. We're not like any other people anywhere on the planet. So it is so important that we approach every one of these situations as masters, whether it's the young brother in the street, whether it's the young sister running around with a butt out. You know, you just got to say, sister, you would be much more beautiful covered. You make it very difficult. I respect you. I'm not judging you. But you make it very difficult for me as a man to respect you in the way that you deserve to be respected as a woman, as a young lady dressed like that. You know, you understand what I'm saying? And when we can talk like that in a way that we're not attacking, because we already know what made her like that, then what we're doing is now we're using wisdom to help elevate our woman, elevate our brother, elevate our sister, Brother Lewis.
Salute to the good brother
Yes.
with 3 jobs,
yes,
to take care of his family, you know.
Yes. Salute.
Appreciate it.
And it's real interesting how that brother and many brothers who sacrifice the way that brother is sacrificing is covered up with a bushel basket. I don't know how old brother he is, but he seems young. But I'm proud of him.
Yes,
and I'm proud of the 23 years.
I'm proud of you too. Yes.
There are a lot of young brothers who are working hard. Now, I don't believe that any man is proven that he's a good man by being emasculated.
I agree.
I don't go for that. I don't think that's good. And a lot of times, if you don't have a lot of money, and Minister Farrakhan talked about him not having a lot of money at the beginning of the marriage, but he's a man right on. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Now that's very commendable that the brother, he's not making any excuses. He's not robbing. He's not jacking. That's an honorable brother. He's working 3 jobs to try to take care of his family. You know, I got to say that. Our language, sometimes we think that we're being diplomatic, and there's a place for diplomacy. But when you're dealing with some people who are dead, we really have to be very direct, I believe. Now, the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I wanted to just continue where I started on this reading just a little bit. This is on page 60, Message to the Black Man, about the middle of the page. He said, Islam will not only elevate your woman, but will also give you the power to control and protect them. Brother Tony highlighted that I said earlier, you can't protect what you can't control.
That's right.
We protect ours against all of their enemies. We protect our farms by pulling up the weeds and the grass by the roots, by killing animals. You know, animals do go in there, deer, and eat your watermelon, whatever. We kill animals and birds. And by poisoning the insects that destroy the crop in order that they might produce a good crop. See, a lot of times we don't have good children because our women are not protected. How much more valuable are our women, who are our fields through whom we produce our nation? The white race does not want us to destroy their race by intermarrying with them. They will even kill you to protect their women. Can you blame them? No, blame your foolish self for not having enough respect for your own self and your own nation to do likewise. Stop our women from trying to look like them. Do you hear that? That's a direct
instruction.
Stop our women from trying to look like them by bleaching and powdering and ironing and coloring their hair, painting their lips, cheeks, eyebrows, wearing shorts, going half nude in the public, going swimming with them, and lying on beaches with men. Have private pools for your women and guard them from all men. Stop them from going into bars and taverns and sitting and drinking with men and strangers. Stop them from sitting in places with anyone. Stop them from using unclean language in the public. Have you heard how our sisters talk? How filthy their language is? And oftentimes they learn that filthy language from us. Stop them from using filthy language in the public and at home, from smoking and drug addiction habits. Nothing but Islam will make you a respectable people. We Muslims are your example, living here in your midst. There is no delinquency in Islam. Are you with us to put our people on top of the world? See, a nation can rise no higher than its woman. But the black woman, again, Minister Farrakhan said, will never rise without the backbone and the black man lifting her up. So I just wanted to put that out there, Brother Michael. There are some things, definitely, we got to know what to do. And we can't be worried about how we're perceived based on us carrying out our orders. And those are orders.
Absolutely.
And if we carry out those orders, we'll be respected as men. Yeah. See, all of us have to wrangle with this question. Would we rather be liked by the world or respected by the world? Because they got a lot of need to grows, and I do say need to grows that are liked by this world.
Right.
But collectively, you won't be respected. And really, they look at, the world looks at how our women relate to us. And there are some women that they're just not our women. His last trick was to offer you his woman.
That's right. Come on with it.
If she don't reflect your energy, she ain't your woman. That's real talk. Now, you said earlier, Brother Mike, you were talking about the God and how the God looked in himself and seen a second self. Well, Brother Tony said he talked about us making Master Fard Muhammad into a spook. To Brother Tony's point, we don't need to get spooky when we're picking in a relationship. We need to look in ourselves and study ourselves and find our individual second self. Somebody who naturally reflects your energy. See, believe it or not, a lot of times a woman can be so in tune with you, she can literally read your mind.
Absolutely.
Because the same way Christ said, let this mind, the scriptures say, let this mind be in you, the same that is in Christ Jesus. Ain't that something?
That's right.
Well, wouldn't you want your mind to be in a woman that's going to carry you to the next dispensation of time? I'm not getting crazy or anything like that.
No, sir. No, sir.
But if you want to build something, you're going to need a woman to help get your help qualified to build it. And this is not just in construction. If you want to build a restaurant and you got a vision to do that, you're going to need a woman who can reflect your energy. And most of the time, women are better record keepers than we are.
Yes.
Do you know that?
Yes.
You got to be doing something for her to have to be able to record it. But they really record our history. And I'm actually talking on the individual level, hoping that I could help or be of some assistance to any young brother or any brother that's listening to me. We must study ourselves, get the knowledge of your general self, but your specific self as to what you as an individual desire to do. And then it is ungrateful to waste time. So don't waste time with women who you don't see inside of yourself. Find a woman that's already in you, in self, and then bring that part of yourself out, a living being that can reflect your energy. And when you get two, and I was telling my son this the other night, because it is a mistake that we make as brothers. Don't go and just put your seed in just any old person that pops up. Find a vessel that you found inside of you that you really believe, and then you create a bond. And when I say a bond, I'm talking about what they call a marriage, but it's really a bond.
Mm-hmm.
And that bond will produce a power for y'all to really build something together. I wish that some men my age would have given me this information.
Yes.
When I was a lot
yes.
younger.
Yes.
But now that Minister Farrakhan was kind enough to let us in the FOI class for free, he didn't charge us anything. The only thing that he requires of us, Brother Tony, Brother Michael, Brother John Hoyle, Brother Hoyle, is that we share the information that we got for free with young brothers like Brother Jay and Brother Samuel. And I don't know if your nephew is on tonight, but he's usually consistently here.
Mm-hmm.
But those young brothers can go so much farther at a much faster pace. And your son, Brother Michael.
Yes, yes.
See, they're a lot faster than us.
A lot faster.
Sometimes some of the men our age become a little jealous and a little envious.
Yes.
And we know better, but we either give no advice, which is horrible. How could you not be an advisor to young men? Or we give terrible advice. Don't turn down nothing but your collar, boy. What kind of advice is that to tell a young man don't turn down nothing but his collar? You know what I'm talking about? Sick. And then you wind up having 3 or 4 baby mamas. None of the women respect you. Your children grow up. Before you know it, they 10, 15, 20 years old. They don't even know you because Satan caused you to mismanage time. So the original God took a lot of time with himself in darkness, meaning he couldn't see the light at first. But eventually, working with himself, he sparked the light and he started looking inside of himself, because we're looking on the outside of self. But the real view in life is on the inside of you, your inner thoughts. And you keep stirring around these inner thoughts, and eventually you're going to spark a light. And then you study yourself after the light, and you start building yourself up. You know, they talk about brothers lifting weights. All of that's fine, fine. But there's something that we have to do psychologically and spiritually and mentally to build ourselves up, and then find a woman who you can honestly say you like her mind, her thinking, her energy, and then let that woman, entrust that woman with the sacred duty of reflecting that energy and taking it to the next dispensation of time.
Absolutely. Brothers, first, I want to, say that we're going to definitely follow this conversation up, Allah willing. But, Brother Lewis, you said something, and as we get ready to wrap up our discussion tonight, you said something that was very important, and I think it's something that people and all of us as brothers need to understand. Again, a man, and respectfully, when I say this, makes a woman his own. And that's because he's going somewhere and doing something. It is her nature to help us when we're trying to do something good and beneficial, something that will feed the family, something that will help us advance. If she's wise enough to help you, then you're blessed to have her in your life. If she can see that in you and help you and move outside of sometimes the selfishness that the enemy has put in our woman, which has weaponized her attitude against us. But you're right. You have to go in self. You got to know what you need as a man. And when you know what you need as a man, then that's how you start the process of choosing a woman, knowing what you need to help make you a better human being. Sometimes she could be a good businesswoman for you. She might know business well. She might manage money very well. She might be a good hustler. She might be a good go. She might make more money than you. But you may have, right? Yeah. So what?
But a terrible wife.
But a terrible wife. If she's not that, she don't know how to be a good wife, then you're in trouble. But my point is, what we as men have to do, as brothers, we have to study ourselves effectively with wisdom. Know what you want. Have a definite aim. A lot of times we don't know what we want. And working is good for us, making the job, and that's good. But that's not what Allah put us here for, just to put us here for. Some of us may have to do that to take care of our family, but we may be teachers. We may be spiritual. We may have other aspects of what we do. We know what our definite aim is. And when you know what your definite aim is, you go from there. You need to make sure whatever the counterpart is, that they understand what that is. If you are a teacher, you are a spiritual leader, a man, you need a woman who understands that and who will support that in your nature. She may not be that herself, but she needs to understand that about you if she wants to be a part of the support and helping you to meet your obligation as a man, which will in return give her exactly what she needs. So I was lastly want to say also, in addition to that, that before you penetrate her body, real talk, you need to have enough wisdom to penetrate her mind. And you need to be able to emit the spiritual seminal fluid into her brain to see if she can give birth, see if she can absorb the ideas that you have as a man, especially if you have wisdom as a man. And if she can do that and come under your leadership and trust your leadership as a woman, then that turns into a good opportunity for you. And these are things that I've had to learn. I haven't mastered it. Like you said, we were invited into a class. And just because we went into that class don't mean that we haven't made mistakes, that we won't make mistakes, that we won't make some in the future. But we're in the class, which increases our chances of being a better person, ultimately, even if we make a mistake, But it is important as men that we understand that. You deal with somebody, see what's in their head. See how they react to truth when you talk about something of a principle of truth. Those are the starting points that we need to be able to understand as a man. In order to maintain a woman, you don't do it with force. You don't have to do it with brute force. You do it with wisdom, as I have grown to understand from the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It is wisdom that you use as a man. You take a position. Men take positions. That is one of the primal qualities of a man, a natural quality of a man. Take a position. Once you take your position, hold your position, never violate the principles of that position the best that you possibly can, And that's what women, I believe, more often respect and honor
You still
above
working,
all things, you
Pastor?
know. So brothers, as we close, you know, I'm grateful for all of you and your
I
participation
hate to go
tonight,
home without my food.
and thanking you for your input. And you know, this is a growing conversation. We're not going, you know, build this thing up overnight. It don't happen overnight. We just kind of at the tip of the iceberg about in this discussion. It's not something that, you know, we just have a one and done. So I do want to follow up. We're going to look at an opportunity to follow up in the future on this subject and continuously build on this subject, because this is a critical area, you know, and this is not to provoke egotistical responses from anybody, male or female. We got to have a healthy conversation about what's going on with us. And we have to reinstitute what a role is. The minister said, know your role. What are your role? What is your role? What is the role of a woman? What is the role of a man? If you don't know your role as a man and you don't know your role as a woman, we get confused. And then when we get confused, we become combatant with each other. And now we're fighting and killing each other because we are operating outside of our nature and our role as a human being. So I encourage us, let's continue to study. The black man, we have to study. I want to give much love to you, my brothers, all of you on the call tonight. Whether I love you, I appreciate you. I know exactly what I'm saying when I say that. I want the best for you as my brothers. I want us to win, to be successful in every aspect of our lives. You know, stay encouraged because the attack is severe against black men. Stay encouraged. Keep fighting. Don't give up. You make a mistake, dust yourself off and try again. Some bars for you, but you know, don't ever give up, brother. And when you fight, continue to remember that sometimes you got to regroup. You got to take a step back, and you know, in the ring, man, because you might be just throwing and you ain't landing. You might need to step back and make sure your base is right again and get your footing right. And remember what your trainer told you. You know, there's some things you might have to do just to make sure that you can hit your target. But the number one thing is to not quit. Keep studying, keep improving yourself. It's never too late. It's only too late when you expire breath from your body, bruh. That's it. But while we live in this moment, we have an opportunity to be our best self, to be great human beings, to be more like the God, to be gods, you know, and that's what we have to become, and we should be determined to become. So take care of your physical health. Take care of your physical health by what you put into your body. Make sure you exercise, black men. Make sure that you pray. I should have started there, you know, and that you fast and that you do good. As Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, be kind and do good to all. So I thank you, all of my brothers, for your participation and being on the call. May Allah bless and keep you and strengthen you until we are back together again, inshallah. And please share this around, brothers. Share this conversation. It's important that we share and that we make sure that other brothers are tapping in on this, because we have to become brothers. And if you notice, as we talk, we get stronger. Each brother gets stronger. I promise you, we get stronger and stronger and stronger. And in a minute, we'll be so strong, we won't even recognize ourselves. Even those of us who've been in this process, we're not old and antiquated. We ain't no old sages. We are still growing. I'm still growing, you know. So inshallah, that means if it pleases Allah, we will be the victor. A simp is a weak man. Sister asked a question online. A simp is a man who compromises himself for a woman or anyone in a very weakened fashion to win some benefit like sex or otherwise. He compromises his manhood, his integrity, his in that regard. He follows up behind a woman, particularly in the instance of what we're using it, in a way that he compromises the integrity of his manhood. But otherwise, brothers, I thank you again for tuning in to We Must First Be Brothers. We'll be back, God willing, Allah willing, next Thursday. Please share with our brothers around everywhere. Invite some brother on the call. so we can continue to build and we can continue to penetrate the algorithm and go to war, because the battle is in the sky right now, brothers. May Allah bless you and keep you. Thank you for tuning in. Ramadan Kareem. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes. All right, Neff. Good to hear your voice.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, brother Daryl.